This presentation is part of a knowledge transfer system called the Worksheet System. This particular worksheet is called the Skills Grid, and it prepares everyone for the next step.
Hello, I'm Laure Paquette, and I'm a professor of political science at Lakehead University. I teach underdog strategy. That means, what do you do to get what you want when you have no power and no money?
This is the skills grid looks like blank. At the far left, a column called simulation or exercise. The near left, content or role. The near right, the skill. And the far right, areas of application in workplaces. There are 4 parts to this presentation: uses, definitions, instructions, and tips. There are 3 uses for the skills grid. Those uses are: it prepares you for the job search. It makes you take stock of your abilities, and it helps you identify what you have learned. Next, we'll look at definitions. For the skills grids, there are 3 definitions. A simulation or exercise is the part of the course that was applied or make-believe. The content or the role is what the professor lectured about, topics you research, or what you personally did in a simulation. A skill is the ability to use one's knowledge effectively and readily in the execution or performance of a task. The next section includes instructions. There are 4 instructions for the skills grid. First, list the components of the course in this column. Next, list here the content learned or the role played. Here, list the skills for each content or role. And finally, list here all the possible workplaces and occupations for the skill you list in the previous column. Next, we'll look at tips for completing the skills grid. There are 2 tips for completing the skills grid. First, make sure that the skills you list are transferable, that is to say, can be usable in other situations but the one where you developed it. And second, do not list here something as vague as work, class, or life. It will get you nowhere. At the close of the skills grid document, you will find a list of action verbs, much longer than this one, that will help you complete the skills grid. Remember, the skills grid is important to develop an overview, but it is only the beginning in preparing you for the next step.